Hello, my dear friends. Interesting one today. There's a guy in America, and his name's Sean Graham, and he has set himself the interesting task of trying to review all of my solo and collaborations and the church, I believe, on YouTube.
You are watching The Steve Kilbey Show with Sean Graham.
Morning, everybody. Welcome back to The Steve Kilbey Show. I'm your host, Sean, and we are currently sifting through the church in the 80s. So let's spin that wheel, see where we're at today. Spinning. We're on Heyday. Yep, we're on Heyday. Okay. All right, so Heyday. Oh, before we jump into Heyday, I realized that I forgot to show you where Seance landed on the Kilbey leaderboard, so I'll show that now. Kilbey leaderboard, of course, my temporary Kilbey leaderboard. We got Seance down there at number 5 after Hypnagogue, Kilbey Kennedy box set, Speed of the Stars, and Churches of Skins and Heart, and then Seance. Really do like Seance. It's very, very good stuff. So, the other thing, quickly, is that I forgot to show this. Again, this will be quick. So, Electric Lash is a single, obviously from Seance. Love this artwork. I had this 7-inch promo single that I picked up along the way that I really like. So, great artwork, of course. You got them right there. And you got Autumn Soon on that side. So Electric Lash is very good. This single is great. Is this hard to find? Does anybody know? This single is hard to find. This version of the single, anyway. I feel like I couldn't really find much info about this particular version. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about 1985's album number 4 from the church, Heyday. And anybody watching this who's familiar with the church will have opinions, I'm sure, on Heyday. I would love to hear your opinions on Heyday. But before we hear those, we're going to listen to what I have to say, I guess, about Heyday. Heyday has a fantastic cover with the men in these paisley shirts in front of this rug. I think it's a hanging rug is what it looks like. I love this photo of them. They look so handsome. Look at Steve up there. Devilish grin. And here is the original track listing. This is a reissue of vinyl that came out in 2024, and it's on red vinyl. They were doing these color reissues of their records. So Skins and Heart, I think, is on a white vinyl. I have Seance, which is on pink. Blurred Crusade is on blue, and Heyday here on red. So anyway, another great cover. Or not a great cover, but a great photo of them. Really love this. The colorization is nice there. I love this sort of beige-ish color with this maroon type on it. Speaking of this part of it, this is interesting. I read that this was the last church album to include the printed lyric sheet. So in 1985, when Heyday came out, this was apparently the last time the church opted to include a printed lyric sheet with their album. So it's been a long time since then. I think that's an interesting choice, which I do not mind at all, obviously. So I have that version on vinyl. We also have the reissue CD here. Oops. That came in a red jewel case for me. I bought this secondhand, so maybe they replaced it with this red jewel case, or maybe it originally came with that, but I don't mind either way. This has 2 bonus tracks, The View and Transcendings. And this is on a kind of a fun-looking disc, honestly, from Zonophone. I like everything that's going on here. A lot of red going on here. So yeah, this has 2 bonus tracks, both of which are good. The View and Transcendings, not my favorite from this album, but they're both really good. And since we're still talking about all things Heyday here, and just to get all the show and tell out of the way, I also have a 12-inch single for Columbus, the LP version, the edit, and Happy Hunting Ground. And this is on, I think, WB Records. Yeah, that's on WB Records there. So, Columbus is obviously a song on here. Heyday, 1985. Their 4th album. It was the first album of theirs to debut in the charts, in the U.S. charts, and it debuted at number I forget, 148. So they're kind of like hitting their stride here. The church, I think, were feeling a little bit stagnant with how the recording process had been going previous to that, but they were feeling good about the live performances that they were doing. So the players that we know now from the church here, Steve, Peter, Marty, and Richard Plug, they go into the studio together and just kind of work on this as a group. And Heyday is that result. And I feel like you feel it, you feel like it's a band that's really kind of come into their own. They are working well together. They're really jiving because it shows in the music. You get all their different sort of distinct voices, and you get lots of good guitar riffs and bass riffs and good drum fills. Great vocal work. A lot of people talk about this being a sort of a transition period for Steve's vocal work, where like the first 3 albums were rougher around the edges, and in these people's opinions, and then he's showing more range on this album, which is not false. There's definitely more vocal range, I feel like, going on some of these songs, which is nice to hear. Some nice harmonization, of course. There's some brass, some strings. There's all sorts of stuff going on, and it's really good. So yeah, it charted in the States at 148. And this was recorded again at Studio 301 in Sydney. So they've kind of done that now for the first 4 albums, I believe. Definitely at the 3 we've covered. We haven't got the Blurred Crusade yet, but I'm pretty sure they also recorded at 301 in Sydney. So yeah, it's a huge recording studio down there. They're kind of there, back in their comfort zone, but also doing a live show and recording the album in the way that they kind of are coming across in a live setting, which is what they want to show. So I really like this album quite a bit. When you're talking about the songs on the album, you got quite a bit of them here. I would say that, Myrrh is, a lot of people talk about that being a band favorite, but also a fan favorite. It is very good. Tristesse, very good. Already Yesterday is also very good. I love Columbus. Columbus is one of those songs that, in my mind, could have been a worldwide hit, should have been a worldwide hit. It's just, there's so many songs on this, but, we'll just point to Columbus as one of them being a bit surprising to me when, people, radio DJs and record executives in the 80s were giving the church a hard time, saying that you needed more radio-friendly singles. I'm kind of like, what were you looking for? Because Columbus, to me, evokes what I would imagine should be a number 1 hit in the 80s in particular, right? I think it could still be a number 1 hit, but it takes me back to a time in the 80s, listening, takes me back to certain places, and it reminds me of movies from the 80s, right? It reminds me in a very good way of a sort of nostalgic 80s vibe. It has that 80s sound in the best way possible, right? Like, it's really good, Columbus. It's so crazy to me, it's very catchy. There's a lot of great guitar riffs, excellent vocal work. Like, it really is so good. And, so Columbus is excellent, right? And then you go right into one of my favorite songs by the church, which is this instrumental track, Happy Hunting Ground. Obviously, when they're doing live shows, they got a lot of jamming going on in their set, which is great. And so maybe they don't ever throw in these actual true instrumental songs because they're already doing a lot of instrumental work live performing. I love Happy Hunting Ground. There's quite a few of these instrumental tracks that pop up throughout their career that I actually really like. But Happy Hunting Ground might be one of the best ones. It's so light and it feels like a soundtrack. It's beautiful. There's beautiful string work, orchestration. It's just a really very, very pretty song, and it's just a nice transition period here too, right? From Columbus, which is a great riffy single, Happy Hunting Ground, which kind of takes you on this melodic instrumental journey, and then you get into Tantalized, which hits you hard right out of the gate with that guitar riff that we probably all know. If you're a fan of the band, and if you're a fan of this album, Tantalized comes at you hard, and it doesn't really let you go. It's so good. There's an excellent bass groove, which, there's the bass groove. Sometimes I wish that the bass was mixed a little bit higher on some of their songs so I could get it more. It's probably better, right? I think probably the real thing you want is it to all kind of mesh together better. But sometimes I'm a fan of a really higher mixed bass groove on a track, because I like the bass. I like sometimes the bass element is nice and it adds a different texture to the songs. There's a lot of songs I really like from other bands as well that have a bass kind of cranked up, and it always makes me very happy. But You get to hear it quite well on Tantalized, which was a single and was a little bit of a hit, I think. Maybe in Australia, I'm not sure about in the States or not, but should have been a bigger hit in my mind. I think Tantalized is an all-time great song. It's really, really good. On the CD version, actually, in between those, there's a song, As You Will, which is sung by Peter, which has a great line. There's a great line, actually not on As You Will. I can't remember. I can't remember the lyric. It's gone now, so I can't. It's the morning. I haven't had my tea yet. Not quite woken up. So anyway, Disenchanted is absolutely great. That's the next song on here. And Disenchanted is probably, it's got such a great chorus here. I mean, I think everybody kind of knows it, but I'm not going to sing it. But it goes, they say that character you play is rising fast, but you get drunk, make a half-second jump, and experience it as the past. But this is it. The closer you get, the deeper you go, the tighter the net looks at me. So to me, but I love that lyric. I love that song so much. I said I wasn't going to sing it, and I sang it, so I apologize for that. But it's just a really fucking beautiful song. I think the lyrics are really great in that whole song. Overall, it's some of the. I really think it's a band that's coming into their own, and Steve Kilbey coming into some of his powers here, writing better and better stuff. The material is really wonderful. I also like, realized we didn't really close it out. Youth Worshipper is really good as well, written at the time with Steve's girlfriend, Karen Jansen, and then Roman, which tells a really great story. I like Roman. There's some really cool riffs in that as well. It's a fun little story to kind of follow along with in that 3.5-4 minute range that it is. I really like Roman, actually, quite a bit. Surprised me because I kind of forgot about it. It'd been a minute since I'd listened to this, and I put it back on last week. Roman is very, very good, and it has this interesting sound later in the song that kind of sounds like a car crash. There's like this screech, this wail that must be some kind of a guitar wail sound or whatever, but it's great. I love it. It just kind of ramps up a couple times in the background. It reminded me of like a car crash sound or something. So Heyday is really excellent, and again, it came out in 1985 in the fall or November maybe of 1985. I think it's interesting for a lot of different reasons. I really like that the band was kind of working cohesively together to sort of put this out, try to capture that live sound in studio, and I think you feel that. I think it's interesting because it's right before Steve starts going off and making solo records in between church albums, and it's right around this time, right? It's a little bit after this, but I think we're kind of at that jumping off point to where, we're about to go up this Steve Kilbey endless journey up a mountain, right, of work that is so incredible and really unmatched. It's just like we're about to kick that off, and I feel like Heyday is kind of you can look to it as a beacon of, hey, we're out at sea, we see this beacon, let's get to that. You get to that, and then you realize you're on land, and now this land is sort of endless. The Steve Kilbey land is endless because it just keeps growing and growing and growing from, just after this point on, really, until now. So Heyday is interesting in that regard to me, too, because in his body of work, it's like we're about to now jump into some very deep water with Steve Kilbey. We're going all over the place now, and it's just going to be endless, right, which is great. If you're a fan, it's completely rewarding because there is just so much, and so much of it is so good. So Heyday is fantastic. I love it so much. It's really great. You got great album artwork. You got great songs. You got handsome men making good music. I really love it. Disenchanted is so good. Just thinking about it again. I'm probably going to listen to it today. And so on the Kilbey leaderboard, you're asking where would Heyday be? You know what? I'm going to put it right there. I got to work on a better chart. Heyday's going to go at number 1 right now for me. It's such a good album, and it's always been one that I kind of am drawn to. I know when I initially listened to it way back in the day, I thought, yeah, this is it. This is a great fucking band. And it was an earlier one of theirs that I listened to. It might have been the second album of theirs that I listened to, Heyday, and it's just so good. I just really can't speak highly enough of it. So on the Kilbey leaderboard, whatever I'm going to call this, Heyday is at number 1. I got to get some tea because I got to wake up. Hope you have a great day. Heyday, album number 4 by The Church, is done. We're in The Church in the 80s. New Kilbey Kennedy is out and has just arrived. So I'm going to dive into that today and also listen to Heyday. I hope you listen to some Church. I hope you definitely listen to something Steve Kilbey-esque. Hit us up if you want a button if you're in the States. John Carpenter's Ghost of Mars signing out. Talk to you soon.